Warning, this video will include over-exaggerated remarks mocking a fandom. While I do stand by everything that I will say here, the delivery and verbiage is being exaggerated for the purposes of comedic effect and maintaining a character. If you're a Ben 10 fan and actively sign on to the idea that Eunice is genetically related to Ben and Gwen as canon, therefore basically making incest canon to the show in theory, and you get your panties in a twist over me calling you stupid for holding to that notion, I really do not care, and you've been warned that that's what's about to happen nonetheless. For the rest of you, enjoy. I'm just gonna say it. The show isn't being weird about incest, y'all. It's the Ben 10 fandom that's weird as fuck about incest. In fact, it says a lot about the Ben 10 fandom, none of it good, that the majority of you have incest on your mind so fucking much that you think that a machine drawing the pure human genetic component from a human to create a physical body somehow means that the physical body of the machine is genetically related to said human and her cousin, even though in the show itself, its creator, despite being a vain motherfucker, is intelligent enough to make it so that isn't the case. After all, he made the Omnitrix that way. Because if you want to argue that Unice is genetically related to Ben and Gwen, then that means that all of Ben's transformations are genetically the clones/children of their donors. And we get plenty of visual evidence, especially in Omniverse, that that isn't the case, as none of Ben's transformations, save the non-organic ones like Diamond Head, are actually visually identical to other members of their species, specifically their donors. If Kicking Hawk is the clone of Liam, then why the fuck doesn't he look like Liam? Same for Vampire too. And let's go into a bit of genetics in order for me to specifically make fun of the Ben 10 fandom's lack of critical thinking and accurate knowledge of biology for the remainder of this video. Do you all recall that in the episode of Season 2 of Omniverse called Malefactor, that Max says that human genes have less than 1% variation? Yeah, well, all of humanity is very distantly related. We all have common ancestors. There is no such thing as unique genes, unless of course there is a mutation. There is only the sharing of a particular set of genes. And I am so sorry, but no, just because Unice shares the same mouth shape as Gwen in a show with an art style as simplistic as UAF, doesn't mean they are genetically related. Nowhere in the Tennyson family is there someone that could produce someone with the same physical characteristics as Unice. For the love of fuck, she doesn't even have the same green eyes as the rest of the Tennysons that do. And Max and Verdona neither have the genes to produce green eyes, else their sons would have green eyes. No, in reality, Ben and Gwen's green eyes come from their mom's sides of their families. Sandra gave hers to Ben directly, and Natalie, well, for a child of parents whose eyes are not green to come out with green eyes, never mind 2 children, then one of the sets of grandparents needs to have had green eyes to... Oh. Oh. You all know where I'm going with this. No. Don't run. Sit your asses back down. You don't get to be willfully dense and ignore what the show fucking says and shows in favor of your collective anthill death spiral of asinine dribble that is plastered all over the Ben 10 subreddit. You don't get to pretend to understand genetics and immediately call the one canon relationship Ben had that was actually good incest, when in reality, no, none of you fucking understand genetics at all, because if you did... Let's play your stupid game then. Unice directly copied Gwen's genetics? Fine. But nobody ever said she had to copy all of Gwen's genes. After all, I'll give way to this specifically. Although canonically it is stated that both the Omnitrix and Unitrix handle DNA the same way after scanning, it is clear her way of copying DNA is different than the Omnitrix. And as I said, the genes don't add up for her to be related to both Ben and Gwen. She'd have to basically be a clone of Gwen, physically and genetically, and she clearly isn't. She doesn't have an ounce of Tennyson in her. But if she's only related to Gwen, as in she indeed copied Gwen's genes but only did so of her mom's family genes, that explains it better. Because given that Tennysons do not have the phenotypes necessary to spawn Eunice, it would mean only Gwen's mom's family genes do. And you know what that means? Ben crushing on Eunice isn't incest. No matter how you phrase it, it will never be incest. Because if Eunice is just genetically related to Gwen, that means she doesn't actually share any genetics with Ben. They are not related at all. Ben and Gwen are. They share a family together. They share approximately between 14 to 22% of their DNA. But if I am correct, and let's be clear, I am correct. I am more correct than all of you have ever been about this fucking show in your lives. Then that 14 to 22% of DNA that the two of them share is completely missing in Eunice. She is only related to Gwen from her mom's genetics, and dating your cousin's cousin, I guess that'd be what Eunice is in this case,
is not illegal, nor is it immoral.
Depending on who you are, honestly, and especially, it's not incest. Remember, kids, it's not incest if they do not share DNA, which they literally can't from the genetics shown in the show, you fucking brain rot. This is what you get for not paying attention in elementary school science class. Let me know if you need me to make a follow-up video breaking this down into Punnett squares, maybe. Maybe bring your 6th grade science book if you still have it. I am even willing to record myself uninterrupted explaining this in detail with drawings if it is that difficult. Oh, who fucking cares? I fucking win! This entire brain-dead argument is obsolete! Now you stupid fucks need to find something unique to say about the Unice episode! But don't worry, when you finally figure it out, I'll be there to shit on whatever new stupid thing you say! You'll never be free from me! Anyway, enough with the antics. Thanks for watching. I fucking win. My ego will ride the power trip of having more common sense than most of the fandom for months. If you liked my madness and wish to support my work, simply like, share, and subscribe. And before anyone brings up the unmentionable cousin, no, Clyde doesn't disprove this shit. He got his blonde hair from the parent that isn't a Tennyson. Let me be clear that getting a child with a different hair color in a family with primarily dark hair is incredibly difficult, unless they have a parent with said hair color. Hair and eye color are polygenic, controlled by multiple genes. But of course that doesn't mean that having a great-great-great-grandparent with blonde hair means you have the same likelihood to get blonde hair as, say, the likelihood to get blonde hair if one of your parents has it. The darker hair and eye colors are stronger genetics-wise, and the likelihood to inherit the gene increases the closer genetics-wise you are to the person that carries it. And no one in the Tennyson family seems to carry the gene for blonde hair strongly enough to influence it happening with one of their kids. Neither do they for green eyes, which further proves my thesis for this entire insane ramble. Okay, my actual thoughts on Unice's episodes from a story perspective are coming soon. Just need to detox from this video.